We're going to talk about a topic that's very popular, and it is this one. Yes, this is a disabled parking tag, and we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts in general. This is not legal advice, so you really have to have the responsibility of reading the rules and regulations of your province, of your state, of your country, of your region, so that you know how to use it the proper way. So read those rules. However, in general, I'm going to mention what are the general protocols for a disabled parking tag. So we're going to do, first of all, what you can do with the tag. So this is really important. So you can park in handicap spaces, not the van spaces unless you have a van. So there are van ones and there are just regular car parking spots. So that's really important to check it out because the vans need more space. So you're going to see that the parking spot is a little bit bigger than your car. So, and it'll say there'll be a sign in front of you that'll say for vans only, or on the cement it'll say vans only. So you don't want to park there if you don't have a van, obviously, because that will leave the van drivers without a spot to park. So look for a handicap spot that is just for cars, if that's all you have right now. So there are certain parking spots on the streets that have time limits, and you would have no time limit. You can park there for as long as you need to, and especially in areas where there's flooding or there is snow or ice. So sometimes they'll put parking spots there that have time limits, and because there's a lot of traffic, but you would not have to comply with that. Now that just depends, again, on your state, on your country, on your, whatever. So you got to read the rules and make sure that you are up to date. You can also park in private parking spots or private parking lots, I want to say. And you would have to get permission from the manager or the owner. And usually they give you permission, but you have to have permission. You just can't park there because, I have a disabled parking tag and I can just park there. No, you have to get permission. And if they give you permission, well, that's great. But make sure you have a good agreement. All right, so that's in general. So always read the rules. So, because it can change. In some states, I've seen disabled parking spots that have a time limit. So, because there's a lot of people with disabilities that need to park in those spots or whatever the reason. So you want to make sure that you look at the signs, either the sign or the restriction on the pavement. So don't skip those. So sometimes we take advantage of our tag, and that's not the point either. So I forgot to add public parking lots. So you can also park there as long as they're open. You don't want to crash through the gate or something. But you can also park there, but you have to hang your parking tag. So just so they know. So public parking lots. You can also park there. So I just want to add that. But again, look at your rules and regulations for where you live because they'll be different. All right. What you must not do. So here are some good ethics with your parking tag. Never loan it out. Just don't. And one of the big reasons is because this parking tag, all parking tags have a special number to it, and it leads back to you. So if that person gets caught, they're going to get a big ticket, but you also will get a big ticket, and that parking tag will be confiscated. And you'll have to go all the way down to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, to pick it up, and you'll have to explain the situation. So you don't want to go through that. And if you've done this a couple of times and that parking tag has been picked up, they might cancel it altogether. So you just don't want to go there. Certainly never sell it. Never. If you've passed, you're done with your parking tag and you've recovered from your disability, because sometimes disabilities can be temporary and they can be long for life. So with those parking tags that are temporary and you're done with it, then, shred it and throw it away. Never sell it. Again, it'll go back to you because it has an ID. And never obstruct stripes. So you don't want to park in the stripes. That is a special zone for people to load and unload their equipment, their wheelchairs. So those stripes are for people to unload and load their mobility equipment. What is recommended? These are just recommendations. So always keep your parking tag with you. Keep it with you. Keep it in your purse. Keep it in your pouch. Keep it in your backpack. Always keep it with you. Sometimes, people might have a caregiver or whatever, and they're not gonna abuse it. So you might feel safe doing that. So I trust my brother. If I leave the parking tag in the car, I know he's not gonna misuse it. We might have an agreement like, oh, let's meet up at such and such a spot, and I'll be in the disabled parking spot because I left him the tag, and it's because I'm coming out and he's picking me up. So it's related to me. So, but he can't use it while I'm not in the vehicle. But he knows that, and I trust him. But some people, if you don't know them well, the caregiver you don't know well, it's just best to pick up the parking tag and just keep it with you. And you can just say, it's strongly recommended that I keep it with me, and just take it with you. So I would suggest you do that. The other one is keep it protected. You see me with a protector. It's a plastic protector for the tag, and that's just in case somebody spills something or in the car or whatever might happen. So I just keep it protected. If I have my purse and it rains outside and it gets wet, or I get terribly wet, then the parking tag itself is protected and won't get wet, won't get ruined. And this is always seek out the rules and regulations of where you're going. I will be making a short trip over to Canada, and I can use my disabled parking tag over in Canada, but I need to know the rules and regulations, so I have to read those before I go, so I don't incur a ticket. So that's really important, to really know the rules and regulations of where you're going. And that's going to help my little brother a lot, because then we can park closer to where I'm staying, and that kind of thing. Or if he picks me up from somewhere, then he can get to me in a closer manner. So that's really important to read and be knowledgeable of the rules and regulations of where you're going. Because here in Wisconsin, I know the rules and regulations, but if I go to California, or if I go to the state of Washington, or if I go to Alabama, I need to know their rules and regulations. In Bombay or Australia or Germany, the rules might be different. So you need to look those up. And I don't know if a parking tag would be from the United States would be usable in those countries. You have to check it out before you go. So that is what you can do, what you cannot do, and what is recommended you do with the tag to keep it protected, to keep it with you, and know the rules and regulations of where you're going. All right, so if there's any questions, any experiences that you want to share with us, that would be great. Again, this is generic, protocols for disabled parking tags for you, the owner of that disabled parking tag. It is not for those who do not own the parking tag, but I'll do that in another video because it needs to be clear that a whole bunch of things they can't do with the parking tag if they don't own it, and the consequences of what would happen if they're riding around with your parking tag and using it. So, all right. So, any questions? Just post them down below, or you can also share your experiences of using a disabled parking tag. Hopefully positive ones and no negative ones, but you never know. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am really happy that you came and shared a few minutes with me to go through these protocols that you might not have known or that you knew already, but it's good to forward these rules to and regulations to someone who you're just starting to use your parking tag, and it's good for your caregiver to know these rules as well. So on this channel, I post about 3 times a week. On Mondays for caregivers. On Wednesdays, I do just a reflection about the use of wheelchairs. On Fridays, I do Wheelchair Tech Friday. So we talk about some technology that might help you in your use of the wheelchair, and that could be accessible tools, or that could be the wheelchair itself. So stay tuned for those, because sometimes they're kind of fun and interesting to learn about. All right, so thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to subscribe. That helps me a lot. And don't forget to like, because that helps the videos spread around the YouTube world. And I hope to see you next time.